Hear ye, hear ye. Welcome back to PubTalk. I missed y'all. I spent my summer thinking of EDCO events we could do in July and August because I was so sad without all of you. Welcome back. Thanks, Mom. I'm Shannon Kelly, and I'm so glad to be back for another year, thanks to our MC sponsor, OSU Cascades. Thank you, OSU Cascades. Their collab has over 15 students that assist businesses and nonprofit organizations like EDCO with managing social media posts, writing business plans, creating websites, or programming software apps. They can help you find investment opportunities and grants, and we know they work really well with startups because many of them have launched their own companies. So for more information, contact Adam Kranicki or go to osukascades.edu/co-lab. So there's only a couple rules tonight. Only a couple rules. You're gonna wear your mask unless you're eating or drinking or you're actively on the mic. Okay, you can handle that, right? I see some of you are not actively chewing, but we'll let it go. The other rule is that I need you to vote for 3 companies later tonight, and I'm gonna let you know when it's time, and I'm gonna walk you through it. I'm gonna almost hold your hand, so don't worry, you'll know when, and you won't miss the opportunity. So before I get deeper into that, I get to introduce my favorite EDCO CEO, Roger Lee, for a Director's Minute. Where are you, Roger?
People might want me to leave my mask on, but I am going to take it off. So, not for health reasons, other reasons. So for regulars of PubTalk, you probably know, and we have probably hopefully some non-regulars of PubTalk tonight, that I'm a big supporter of helping students, our emerging workforce, get connected to real-world experience. For EDCO, our primary foray into this massive workforce arena has been in the area of connecting businesses to high school, college, and university students for meaningful internships through a program called Youth Career Connect. That's a partnership with East Cascades Works, our workforce investment board. So for nearly 2 decades, we've also have had our own interns at EDCO, and this year is no exception. I'd like you to make welcome John Poland. I think John is maybe in the back of the room here somewhere, maybe in the other room. Aaron may have him on an errand. He's our newest intern, and he's in his final year of business administration studies at OSU Cascades. And John, hopefully people reach out to you and say hello. I'd also like to do a quick shout out to John's predecessor, Cameron Burns, who graduated with his business degree as well from OSU Cascades this past June, and uniquely now works for Algify. It's a digital marketing software company that EDCO recently recruited to the region from, of all places, Barcelona, Spain. It's not the first time that an intern has actually landed gainful employment with an EDCO client company, but I would say it's the first time that a company has been an international business recruit, so pretty fun. And lastly, around internships, EDCO is looking to fill a vacancy and for our Youth Career Connect program for our Redmond internship coordinator. So if you or someone you know may be a fit for this role of matching students and employers, we'd love to hear from you. A special thanks to Sam Lambert and Mid-Oregon Personnel for helping us with that search. And speaking of searches and career opportunities, I'd like to remind everyone attending that the search for Brian Vieira, who's circling around here, his successor for the EDCO Venture Catalyst role, continues. Ideally, we're looking for someone without ADD, who is a master of being politically correct, and who has hand and glove fit professionally with Aaron Riley. So, yeah, by the way, you can thank Aaron for that open season license to heckle you, Brian. Seriously, we do miss you, but we will replace you. We are looking for someone like Brian who has had firsthand entrepreneurial experience as a founder, who has been an equity investor, is passionate about helping startups, and who is a natural people connector. Of course, and who also wants a regular job with a nonprofit. Woohoo! A big thank you to Chris and Karen over at Express Employment Professionals for helping us out with that search. And then finally, just a quick report on M&A activity since we gathered last for PubTalk in June. It was a busy summer, and here's a quick rundown. Professional athlete and Ben founded Picky Bars, and was established in 2011, was bought by sisters founded, again, by professional athletes. Laird Superfood, who was founded in 2015, for $12 million in July. And the only reason we know that is because Laird went public, and they have to disclose that stuff now. Ben founded G5, which was founded in G5, which was founded in 2005, was acquired by Texas-based RealPage for an undisclosed amount in July. Ben founded Lead Method, was established in 2014, and which pitched here at the PubTalk stage and secured an investment through the Ben Venture Conference, was acquired by Florida-based Revelize in late August. Ben found Cairn, which was founded in 2014, another PubTalk and BVC company, was sold to Boulder-based Outside Magazine, the globe's largest media outlet for the outdoor industry. And then finally, while not a Central Oregon-based business, Vancouver-based and founded Hub 2015, and was a winner of BVC in 2016 in a big way, was acquired by Chicago-headquartered Intrado Design Media, so in August. So pretty amazing to see those that group of companies kind of creating this this inertia and being acquired by other folks. So it's an impressive concentration of time for this amount of kind of M&A activity to happen. And I think it's hopefully inspiring for companies that are presenting tonight to know that there can be this kind of a virtuous cycle happen. And it's cool to see some of our exits that have happened in other quarters and other periods of time. Folks circling here at PubTalk that now become investors, started their next ventures. And we think that's a virtuous cycle that really makes the economy roll and makes entrepreneurial efforts make a difference in the economy. So Shannon, back to you.
Thanks, Roger. That was a great update. I'm particularly relieved to hear that Cameron has found gainful employment. I was always very impressed with Cameron's performance, so glad to hear he found a good spot. And a company from Spain moved here. I feel special about that. It's really impressive. Okay, so you always hear me say how thankful we are for our sponsors, and tonight is no exception. We literally could not be here today without them, and I'm so excited to tell you that every single one of our sponsors from PubTalk has re-upped. They're all returning for the year, which says a lot for this event and a lot about the EDCO team. It's really pretty incredible. So tonight, everyone has timed pitches on stage, even the title sponsors. Let's see how they do. So first up, Taylor Thompson from Columbia Bake. Taylor, how you doing, my friend?
Wow, no pressure, just first guy up here. Thanks. No, I was reading the other day, there's no fewer than 42 roundabouts now in Bend. But does anybody know what the speed limit is in a roundabout?
15.
That's way too slow. Right? Yeah, I think it is. I think it's like 15 miles an hour, right? How fast is that? It's not very fast. But what we are looking for are the fastest 20 businesses in Central Oregon. And we're out there looking for you guys right now. This is an event that Columbia Bank has sponsored along with Cascade Business News and Capstone Certified Public Accountants since 2017. So what we're looking for is the fastest 20 growing companies. And we are really excited to be sponsoring this again. So the way you do this is you would want to be established in January 2018. If you have gross revenues in 2020 greater than 2018 with consistent year-over-year growth, and gross annual revenues of $100,000 or greater. If you're interested in being a part of this, you need to let us know soon, because we need to know by September 29th. We have a form that you can fill out, or you can go to Cascade Business News on their webpage and fill it out there. I'd really encourage you to do it. Some of the benefits of that are you're going to get free advertising from Cascade Business News. You get featured in their spin-off article, and you get a great plaque. And this year, because this event has grown so much, Columbia Bank has decided to offer up $1,000 cash to the winner. So with that, I would like to also wish a big heartfelt, go get them to the contestants tonight, and best of luck.
Amazing.
Thank you. See you in the roundabouts.
See you in the roundabouts. Taylor, I'm really glad you brought it up. If you know me at all, I'm really passionate about roundabouts. There's 3 rules to roundabouts, 15 miles an hour, exiting blinker, and roundabouts are for flirting. If you're not flirting in the roundabouts, you're doing it wrong and you need to amend your behavior. Okay, next up, my favorite Julianne Horner from Providence.
Well, hello, everyone. It has been a great summer. We really enjoyed our time here. We've been here for 13 years, and we love it. The one thing that I want to point out is summer is over, fall has begun, and for most of you, that means Q4. And Q4 means that you are looking at your benefits for your employees. So we ask that you would talk with your broker and your agent and look at Providence. We are here. We have great rates this year. We are committed to this community, and we love it. We feel very honored and proud to be able to serve EDCO as well as the PubTalk. So if you have any questions, talk to your agent or talk to me. We're happy to help you. Have a great night.
Thanks, Julianne. Julianne, can I look at Providence? It's just me. I said, can I look at Providence? It's just me. Okay, well, we'll talk. I eat a lot of kale. I floss every night. That's a rebate at the end, right? That's what I've been hoping for. All right, next up, Jordan Smith from VLOC Systems. Come on up, Jordan.
Hey everybody, welcome to PubTalk. Thanks for coming. My name's Jordan Smith. Oh, this thing's really hot. And I'm with VLOC Systems. And a couple roundabout questions. I've actually had an entire Jeopardy on roundabouts once in my life. Does anybody know which direction the bear faces on the Bear Creek roundabout on 8th Street? Who said that? East. Good job. Look at you and your roundabout trivia. With the first roundabout in Bend, anybody know? The Flaming Duck roundabout, wherever that is. The Phoenix. Flaming Chicken, yes. Anyway, on to more important things. So my name is Jordan Smith. We love PubTalk. This is the last PubTalk before the Bend Venture Conference, which is coming next month, on the 21st of October through the 22nd. So hopefully you guys have your tickets and show up there. It's a really exciting thing. Even if you're not looking for investment opportunities, there is so much innovation and fun stuff to do and see, and you get lunch and then the evening celebration, which hopefully is still happening this year in a similar fashion. So looking forward to the Bend Venture Conference. At VLOC Systems, we're really passionate about getting people the technology that they need to run their businesses. And I had this realization the other day. We do the same like enterprise level services for like companies with hundreds of people. We do the same thing for companies with like 5 people or 10 people. So if I mean, there are options out there and opportunities out there, and I feel like it's obvious because I'm in it all the time, but I don't think a lot of people know like massive file sharing opportunities and communication and like enterprise level services and computing is available for all sizes in cloud computing and Amazon and Microsoft, and we have a lot of fun designing that kind of thing for people. So if you guys have any interest in like getting out of your space and getting data out of your building and getting rid of servers and expensive, overheating, noisy appliances that you probably don't need anymore, come talk to me, because like the future is the kind of out of office, remote, work from anywhere, and be really efficient kind of computing now in the business world. So I love learning out about that stuff, but I will get done now, or I'll be done now. I'm really nervous. This is weird. I'm not normally nervous up here. You know what it is? Shannon, she's like, as long as you're drinking, you can keep your mask off. And I think I must have been like too quick, just like I have to keep drinking.
But also you can be on the mic, so you're good.
Right, I know now, I am. So anyway, good night, guys. Thanks.
Thanks, Jordan. I always know what season it is based on what's happening with your facial hair. So thank you very much for being here in person. Love to see it. All right. Last but certainly not least, Kurt Barker with Carnot Peterson. Kurt, where are you? Where are you? Yes.
So exciting and awesome. I wish I could be with you there in person tonight. So on behalf of the business, estate planning, and trial attorneys here at Carnot Peterson, we're really pleased to keep sponsoring. Thanks again for having us. I've been practicing employment law since 2001. I can honestly say in the last month, I've had more requests on religious accommodation issues than I've ever seen in my entire career. And why? Well, you know the answer to that. We've got vaccine mandates coming down. And whether you're in healthcare or have over 100 employees or are just choosing to adopt a mandatory vaccine policy, it sounds like a black and white rule, get the vaccine, but accommodations for religious or medical issues, that's an area that's tricky and filled with gray. So I prepared a little resource for you. In case it helps your business, I've got a guide on medical and religious accommodations that Matt should be providing you a link to. Thank you, Matt Hand. And I hope it's useful for you. There's some links inside the different resources. And real quick, just a couple common mistakes we're seeing. One, engaging in theological debate with your employees. We all know what the Pope said on vaccines. I bet your employee knows too. But the law says their sincerely held religious belief that triggers accommodation duty doesn't have to be backed by a major church or its leader. That said, we don't have to accommodate purely personal or political beliefs. Number two, broad, one-size-fits-all policies announcing things like, we won't be granting any accommodations for such and such workers, with no room for conversation about it. The law says you got to have a conversation, interactive process, do an individualized assessment. And finally, another common mistake, granting an exemption for medical or religious reasons, and then business as usual. You got to consider exploring extra safety rules or accommodations for those with an exemption in order to do your job for OSHA and the other mandates that are coming down here. So don't be shy about using the free link. It's just a free goodie here on PubTalk, sorry. Enjoy the show. Good luck out there.
I love lawyers. Oh, Kurt. That's so awesome, so special. He's always so relevant, too. I appreciate you, Kurt, if you can hear me right now. So shall we get to tonight's program? I hear we also have some cold, hard cash money up for grabs tonight. This is a recent exciting announcement. You sort of stole my thunder on this one, Taylor, but we're really pleased to support our homegrown Central Oregon startup companies and showcase how they compete with applying companies from around the Northwest. So first, thank you to Portland Seed Fund for sponsoring the early stage investment with a $30,000 minimum investment at BVC. And last year, they actually wrote two $50,000 checks. So really anything's possible. No pressure, a little bit of pressure. Jen, I'm looking at you. We've got two expert judges in the mix this evening. They will be voting for 2 of the 5 finalists that are headed to the BVC stage, leaving 3 for you as attendees to vote on, and you'll be determining that tonight. So please help me welcome back Jen Lynch from Portland Seed Fund. My favorite Jen Lynch, smartest woman in Bend. Are there really? Well, that's why you're my favorite, so. We got that cleared up. And then not new to BVC, but not new to PubTalk, but certainly new to the judges station and definitely not new to drilling early stage companies, is former venture catalyst turned startup VP of operations at TrovaTrip, Brian Vieira. Brian, are you behind me? Is that what's happening? Oh no, where are you, Brian? Oh, there you are. Oh, I'm so glad you're back. When I saw your name in the script, I was like, oh, it's on, Brian. Let's do this. So you just couldn't stay away, but we're happy you're back. And of course, we're going to be giving you a hard time tonight. So once we've heard from all the companies, voting will open, results will be tallied, and then announced at the end of PubTalk. Wait for my cue. Companies will not be presenting in alphabetical order tonight, so we could be accommodating to a few of the semifinalists that had other opportunities today, including a trade show in Portland and another pitch fest. It's very, very busy pitchers tonight. After all, the point of PubTalk and BVC is to create opportunities and more exposure for these early companies. So, of course, we're willing to accommodate more possibilities for them to thrive. Plus, Brian's gone, so we could really do whatever we wanted. And he's just a guest, so he has to go by our rules. All right, 3-minute pitches, followed by 3-minute Q&A. We will only have time for 3 or 4 questions, tops, for each company, and we're going to start with judges' questions. So those questions that are coming from you all, please keep them relevant. Make them clear, like use good syntax so that I can repeat them to the companies. They may not have all of the answers because they are like in interesting process where they're all very new at this. So just be patient. But tonight, I'm sure your questions will be very helpful to them. So virtual attendees, please ask your questions in the chat. They will make their way to me. And if you're here at McMenamin's, I think you remember how this works. You're just going to raise your hand, and I will call on you, or if I have time, if I like the look of your question. All right, so let's see here. First question, first early stage company. Are you all ready? So Connect from Bend, Oregon, is a digital marketplace to help cannabis operators find and secure service contracts with trusted providers. The Connect platform never actually touches the plant. So please welcome from Bend, Pete Crawford.
First and foremost, thank you to EDCO and the Bend Venture Conference organizers in particular for hosting tonight's event. I've held executive level positions in both consumer packaged goods and software companies within the cannabis industry for more than 7 years, and I've been wildly fortunate to advise, observe, and learn from an amazing group of pioneering business owners along the way. Connect is a web and mobile platform that enables these business owners to quickly select and start partnerships with service providers in legal, tax, laboratory, insurance, packaging, HR, PR, marketing, etc. While our customers may work directly with cannabis, we never touch the plant, nor do we facilitate any product transactions. What we deliver is service deals, not leads, in a simply unique way. So let's talk about what we do exactly. As a cannabis licensee or operator, imagine creating project or service requirements just once on the Connect platform and matching to the exact partner you need within minutes. How, you may ask? First, providers define their services by answering category-relevant questions in a familiar chatbot interface. They can answer as many or as few of these questions as they'd like in order to create their unique service offerings one by one. In turn, operators define their service requirements, their project requirements, by answering similar questions while our algorithms refine those available providers behind the scenes. Connect instantly displays these exact service matches, accepts final provider selections from operators, and presents 100% pre-approved contracts directly on the spot. Operators can then discuss terms with their management teams, e-sign contracts, automatically schedule project kickoffs, and communicate with project partners directly on the platform. We've designed 3 distinct revenue streams into the platform: flat rate listing fees, transaction commissions, and a feature-enhanced subscription model. Connect is a registered Delaware C Corp and based here in Bend. I have 2 co-founders, 3 digital agency partners, a 4-person advisory board, and 12 investors so far. We've raised over $170,000 in just 8 weeks of active investor outreach and are in conversations with multiple others at this time. Platform design was completed in July, and development is well underway, with our beta program launch scheduled for October 12th, 1 week before we attend the largest cannabis conference in the world in Las Vegas. We're seeking $500,000 to bring us to a public launch position in Q1 and project to be solidly profitable within 14 months. We're building this first-to-market platform in a multi-billion-dollar industry, and we cannot wait to have you on board. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Awesome, thank you.
Such a cool idea, yeah?
It is extremely cool. So, but I'm going to make you get a little more specific about the sorts of service providers and the sorts of contracts, sure, and why I, as a cannabis packaged goods entrepreneur, would use Connect rather than like Google.
Yeah, so we target all professional services for the most part. So we don't target product transactions. So that would be on our side is legal, insurance, tax, all these sorts of things. So what you get when you go onto Google is you get a list, and that list is yours to manage. You have to go after that list, select your provider, compare, contrast, etc. What we do is we ask the right questions relevant to your specific category, and we narrow down exact providers that are relevant and available on your timeline, on your budget, and ready to go that day.
And these are providers who have already said, like, I am willing to work with a cannabis business, and I have expertise to that end, and okay.
Absolutely. So if they're signed up on our platform, they are 100% ready to go.
Okay, so how do you make money?
So 3 different revenue streams. So listing fees for one, transaction commissions based off of the value of the contract, and subscriptions. So that subscription are feature enhanced. So we have a significant number of features that are added on for subscribers.
And who subscribes?
Providers. So, yep, providers are our revenue stream. We don't take any money from cannabis operators. There are a number of reasons why. One of them is banking, but the other reason is that we simply want to make this super easy for those operators to get onto the platform.
So they can come for free.
Yep,
The attorneys and tax people and all them, they pay.
they pay.
And
Yep.
you connect the dots.
Correct, we do.
Thanks, Pete. So it almost sounds like the Angie's List for,
Absolutely.
right, for
Yeah.
Weed.
I was going to say Bumble,
For
but yeah, no, totally,
cannabis.
Brian.
Sure, why not? I mean,
I was trying to pick a more tactful.
you never know. There might be a connection made. Hard to say.
So where are like the first legs in? Like, what are the most popular categories, or where are you finding
Sure.
traction in terms of?
So we did an initial outreach for to 1,400 listings that were on directory sites, which we are trying to change the paradigm with. And what came up were accounting and tax was a big one, legal, insurance, laboratory services, packaging was interestingly at the top, HR, PR, and so on and so forth. So primarily any professional service that is required for a traditional business. But again, our providers are selecting to be involved in the cannabis industry.
Pete, this sounds like the least sexy part of running a cannabis business. Can you just tell us like why we're here today?
So I actually have been in the industry for 7 years. I ran a company here in Bend called Lunchbox Alchemy. I was the first CEO of that company. I went all the way through every single vertical in this business, all the way through to being a service provider with a software company, and found that at every single step of the way, there was always a gap in finding and securing those partners and really trusting those partners from the get-go. So, yeah, maybe it's not, smoking a joint or creating the products out there, but we're really trying to build this business, build this industry up from the ground up by creating by closing that gap with those service providers. So.
Pete, I think you gave such a great pitch. You've done awesome work with Lunchbox Alchemy. I can't stop thinking about the largest cannabis conference in the world. I'm worried for you. Don't touch the dabs.
I know.
Any
It's
questions
pretty
from
crazy.
the audience? Any questions from the audience? Aaron, do I have any questions coming in over chat? Okay, I'm ready for you. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Okay, have you been to this conference before?
This will be my 6th time, yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's doable. Okay,
It's
so I
totally
shouldn't be
doable,
worried
yeah.
for you.
I'm actually heading back after one day of the conference this year so I can be at the BVC. So
Amazing. Okay.
that's the rule of thumb, 3 days in Vegas, no more.
Well, I can't wait to have you at BBC. Did someone just try to get my attention? Yes.
So the bill going through Congress right now that'll legalize banking for weed.
Yep.
How's that going to impact?
So the bill going through Congress right now, legalizing banking for weed, how is that going to affect your business?
So it'll take a while, first of all, but so yeah, we welcome that. Really, what we're trying to do is, even though our platform is, it can be localized, it also allows partners outside of a general jurisdiction, so outside of Oregon, et cetera, to get connected. We welcome this across the board. That is the ultimate position that the cannabis industry wants to be in, is to be out of the shadows and into the light. So we encourage it. We want that. We want to be able to service as many people as we want across as many state lines as possible. We don't think it's going to impact our bottom line in any way, shape, or form. In fact, we think it's only going to enhance it.
Out of the shadows. I love that. I came here to be dramatic tonight too, Pete. Well done. Thank you so much. Great pitch. I'm really excited for you. All right, thank you to sponsor SGA. Whether you are in the startup phase or thinking about selling, SGA CPAs is here for your business every step of the way. Our second early stage company, Shilling, from Portland, Oregon, is a micro investing app that bridges the gap between the time you spend on your smartphone and investing in the stock market. Please welcome Taban Yolo.
Hello? Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Hey, my name is Taban Yolo, and I'm the CEO of Shilling. And Shilling is a micro investing app that converts the time you spend on your smartphone to The wait list's been open for about 2 weeks now. And I don't have my co-founders here, but I have two other co-founders, Doye and Paul, that are also working on the project with me. So, thank you.
Questions right away. So,
Yeah.
Jen, you look like you're ready.
Hi. Hello. I don't know if you can see me. I'll just be a ghostly voice in your ear. Tell us, Taban, a little bit about this idea of fractional investing, like how you invest $5 in an aggressive portfolio of the stock market, just for the people who aren't familiar with that concept.
So how fractional investing works is it's pretty much you have a portfolio with all these different companies. Let's say we have an aggressive portfolio, which will be pretty much made up of companies or securities that are more of the small stocks, right? So you have a portfolio of companies that has, let's say 70% made out of stocks and then 30% made out of bonds. So what happens is, with, obviously with advanced technology now, you could buy fractional shares of companies. So that's how the whole fractional investing works is, you could buy, 50 cents worth of Apple share now through licensed brokers.
And you, just to be clear, you don't have to have a broker-dealer license to do this. And you don't actually have to talk to folks' bank accounts to make it work. You're just you're sort of running in the middle with technology. Explain how you can do all of these incredibly complicated things and yet kind of just run the software.
Yeah, well, so we're working with the broker-dealer working with is Alpaca, and they pretty much set up a platform that other companies could build their software on top. And that's what we're using right now is Alpaca will pretty much will handle all the trades, holding all the account information. They're a licensed broker-dealer, so everything with them is SEC registered. So what we're doing is just building our platform on top of theirs, and we'll just all the trades and all the transactions will just be sending call information to their databases to ensure the transactions go through.
Hey, Taban, I got a question for you. So if I were to invest $5 a day over a 24-hour cycle, I guess,
yeah.
Is it time-based? So in other words, are you kind of trying to capture kind of a pricing balance throughout the day so that you're evening out the highs and lows? And then second part of that question is, how much would you make on that $5?
How much would we make on that $5? We as Shilling or as a user?
As Shilling.
As Shilling, yeah.
Okay, so what we won't make any amount on that. We have a monthly subscription, so we'll be charging users $1 every month for using the service.
So you need a lot of users.
Yes, we need a lot of users. Yes.
Is Shilling going to know how much I use my phone? Is that kind of creepy? What sort of permission do you have to get from a user in order to be able to even do this?
Well, we're going to be transparent with users. We're going to tell them what information we'll actually be getting. Actually, what we're starting with right now is we won't know exactly what apps you use or the nitty-gritty of how you spend your time on your phone. All we'll be knowing is how much time your phone is unlocked. So whenever your screen is unlocked, we'll be able to know that. And this is different from what Apple's offering. With Apple, you could go ahead and pretty much get a full report. Same as Samsung now, most Androids, you get a full report. But we're not going to be going into the nitty-gritty, obviously, because currently right now there's a lot of privacy issues around that. So we'll just be knowing when your screen is unlocked and when it's locked.
Any more questions from my judges? Okay, great. So, Taban, this is so fascinating. I made my first two micro investments through social investing apps. This is I have a million questions, but it's not about me, Taban. So I'm wondering if the audience has any questions. Anyone here in person? Anyone in the theater? Aaron, do I have anything coming in online? Okay. Is this oh, here we are. how do you choose the portfolios, or is there, how is that chosen?
So we're gonna work with experienced. We're gonna work with experienced. What do you call it? We're gonna work with experienced of analysts in the banking sector. I have a couple connections that I know. They currently work and they're Series 67 and 65 licensed registered. So they're going to pretty much curate these portfolios for us. And obviously, as time goes on, we'll be, making the portfolios better for our users. Just so we stay up to date. Just like how any ETF, updates what companies they have in the ETF. It will be the same way how we'll update the portfolios based off the risk tolerance.
Okay, great.
And I feel like everybody over the age of 32 is sort of sitting here going like, I don't totally get what's going on. But like, to be clear, someone's phone's unlocked for 24 hours. Every time that happens, you're going to pull $5 out of their bank account and invest it. Like, this is just sort of happening behind the scenes. You're not thinking about it. And, you're sort of building this little nest egg without thinking about it.
You're making money while you're scrolling Instagram.
Passive, yes.
Finally, yes.
What are your early thoughts, strategy? Because I know it's early on about just getting users, getting people to know about your company and to unpack some of these maybe complicated questions that people don't fully understand. Like, how do you get them to understand this quickly so that they want to download your app and start to use it?
So how do you find your users? How do you attract them to the product? And how do you break down some of these complicated questions quickly so that they can understand how it works and get signed up?
So how we've run a bunch of small ads. And what we realized is most of the users that, are pretty much signed up for a wait list are, I would like to say, are more in like the Gen Z category. So we're talking about 18 to 27-year-olds. And they tend to be mostly, obviously, on social media platforms a lot. So what we're tending to see is it's a lot of 18 to 27-year-olds that pretty much have somewhat knowledge of the stock market or like investing and pretty much on social media most of the time.
It's so cool.
Question from the theater, if possible.
Yes, go ahead.
So if it's $1 per user subscription fee, what's the marketing strategy to try and build this user base? And then secondly, why shilling over some of the other options?
I'll start with the second question. So why shilling over the other options? What we came to realize is like, let's say the other options, like say Acorns that's out there, you tend to invest based off your spare change. But what happens is you have some users that say don't use their credit. Let's say if you don't use your credit card for 2 weeks. This happened to me a couple of times. I pretty much make payments once or twice, and I don't use my credit card for like 2 weeks and a half, and I don't have any transactions going on. So what tends to happen is over time, the volume of those transactions, if you pile up, a bunch of users, the volume tends to be slower down. But once you're using your phone, I would like to say it's more like a guarantee that, you'll use your phone at least once a day. And the more time you spend on your phone, the higher the volume will be, and then the more money you invest. So we're looking at it on a perspective is that we'll be able to generate more volume just based off screen time. And was the first question, how will we get users?
Yeah, what's the marketing strategy to obtain users?
So now, right now, we roll out ads on Snapchat, and we're getting about it's about 80. We get for every 80 cents we use, we get one sign up. So that's pretty much somewhat our CAC right now.
That's great. Well, I'm excited for you. This is definitely something that can disrupt, and I'm always going to cheer that on. So thanks, Devon, for joining us for tonight, and I'm wishing you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
So special thanks to sponsor Ferguson Wellman and its division West Bearing Investments, customizes investment portfolios for individuals and institutions, and recently began Octavia Group, a suite of personal finance services and family office offerings. For market updates and wealth management information, please visit and subscribe to their blog on their website, fergusonwellman.com. Third early stage company, Field Day, from Portland, Oregon, is an online platform that helps individuals and organizations discover and engage with local nonprofits through group volunteer events. Please welcome Eli Blackman.
Oh, there you are.
Thanks for having us. My name's Eli Blackman, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Field Day. Social issues are straining our communities in ways that are more visible than ever before, and it's affecting individuals and organizations in the places that we live and work. Employees are leaving their companies at an unprecedented rate, a trend that's only accelerated during the pandemic, and a primary factor in this is because they do not feel a personal or cultural connection to their companies. However, data shows that employees are drawn to organizations that demonstrate strong values around corporate social responsibility, or CSR. And there's one specific element of CSR that's especially powerful because it actively engages employees as part of a company's CSR mission by getting them involved in their local communities, and that is through employee volunteering. So while companies today are trying to do whatever they can right now to try to recruit and retain talent, they either, one, are not aware that employee volunteering is a powerful engagement mechanism, or two, they're trying to do it right now, but there's considerable overhead involved with finding, organizing, and trying to measure the impact from a single event, let alone put together an entire program. And that is why we're building Field Day. Field Day is an online platform that makes it easy for individuals and organizations to discover and attend high-quality group volunteer events with local nonprofits. Single commitment, work party style group events are really nice fits as team building activities, breaking up the workday and increasing employee productivity and morale. Field Day also provides employee engagement, insights, and metrics, as well as social impact metrics, really helping organizations to understand and strengthen their recruiting and retention initiatives. The market for Field Day, there are a couple different markets. The primary market is corporate social responsibility software. Benevity's a leader in this market today. They sold a majority stake for $1.1 billion in December 2020. Nonprofit development software is another market with overlap, which is projected to reach $4.4 billion by 2023. Field Day's business model will be as a monthly subscription service on the organization or company side. It's on a per user per month basis or site license. On the nonprofit side, still a monthly or annual subscription as their volunteer event management system. Field Day's founding team comes out of Amazon, and prior to that, Elemental Technologies, which was acquired by AWS in 2015. And we were early on at Elemental and grew with the company, and it was through that experience that we acquired a lot of deep experience in this area. Jason Lapierre, who's here tonight, he's my co-founder and our CTO. He's on the engineering side. My background's primarily in marketing and community engagement programming. We are targeting MVP for the nonprofit side by end of year, early Q1, with pilots for organizations in Q1, and we're raising $850,000 to hire the team to get the product to market, start generating revenue, and iterate as we work to scale and expand this thing. You know, we're really driven by this idea of community engagement becoming ubiquitous across individuals and across organizations, and believe that Field Day will be the tool that makes that happen. So thanks so much for having us.
That's great. What say you, Jen and Brian?
Hey, Eli. So what model are you kind of envisioning around? Is it a marketplace model that you're going to use to bring opportunities to companies that are looking for volunteer? And these are event-based.
They're events. So we are a platform, so nonprofits will be able to use us standalone to run their events. But as we acquire nonprofits, then the organizations will have a single place that they can go to see local events in their area with the nonprofits.
So what tools would you start with if say I wanted to run an event, a volunteer event with you, what tools do you kind of bring to the platform?
As a nonprofit or as the organization?
So as the company that I'm going to for this solution.
Okay. As the company.
So I'm
So
coming
you work
to
for a
you.
company. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So you
I'm
come
saying,
you
hey,
come to field day.
I want to put on a volunteer
Yep.
day for my staff.
Yep.
Team
You'll
building
be
type-
able to, you'll be able to filter on things like time of day, if you're able to bring your kids or not, how many spots are available, location, and then it'll filter it, and you'll see or
So
cause
these are
area
events
if
that
there's
are
specific
scheduled,
cause.
running, and they have spots that need to be filled by multiple companies.
There's both the public side, so they have spots available, or it's private bookable events if you have a team of 20 and you want to work with the nonprofit to find a time that fits. So it's a corporate development opportunity on the nonprofit side. That's a really primary driver for them to get the exposure and build those corporate relationships by getting additional eyes on what they do as an organization.
So how are nonprofits doing this right now, in your experience?
So a lot of them are piecing it together with spreadsheets, depending on their size. And then the larger nonprofits, there are volunteer event management systems out there, but they run specifically on that nonprofit's website, so it doesn't give them the visibility or the kind of hands-off marketing platform that Field Day would provide. But a lot of them are piecing together a lot of different tools right now.
It sounds a little complicated to build a marketplace and charge for both sides at the same time. Like if you had to pick, where do you think you could extract value early in order to sort of get the flywheel going?
The primary revenue driver will be on the organization, on the company side. Initially, as we build up that basically library and availability of events, we will be partnering with the nonprofits. That'll be a tiered subscription model. They are, nonprofits are our content partners in this, and so it has to be a no-brainer for them to be on the platform. So it'll be a free tier for them to have events on there, but then additional features like being able to enable donations to capture a momentum after an event, where the paid tier will, ideally pay for itself pretty quickly by making it easy for the folks that really enjoyed a volunteer event to give a little bit additional.
That was my question. Fundraising events have changed so much over the last 2 years, so do you see a big opportunity for fundraising in this?
Yeah, we're starting very narrow with volunteering, and we see a few different directions this can go. It could be any sort of event with a nonprofit, whether it's a gala or a charity run or that sort of thing. But the traditional corporate philanthropy model has been really monetary first focused, and we're really trying to flip that to be able to have smaller companies that might not have the budget be able to still add value to their local communities by giving back time and overcome some of the scheduling challenges that are out there right now, as well as layering on top of that the reporting, employee engagement reporting, and being able to tell some of that social impact story about how they are engaging with the community and the nonprofits that are really powerful recruiting and employee retention.
Absolutely, yeah. It seems like there's just a lot of potential possibility here. Yes, Julianne.
Working for a large nonprofit, and we're very service-driven, how would Field Day support us?
So that she works for a very large nonprofit that is service-driven. How would Field Day support them?
Yeah, our go-to-market strategy is really market by market. We certainly want to be able to support the bigger nonprofits and the bigger organizations out there. So in terms of a large nonprofit, we would likely early on target their regional growth almost as a pilot for them, and then be able to have them replicate that in the different places that they operate. It's also a really good fit where some of their more virtual events could play a role, or some of the other types of events besides in-person volunteering that I mentioned. could be an opportunity for the nonprofits too.
Question from the
Yes.
theater.
Oh, go ahead.
So what does the competitive landscape look like? Are there other companies out there doing this? And then what is your unique value proposition that kind of separates you from them?
Yeah, there are a few markets. So in corporate social responsibility software, companies like Benevity or Your Cause, which was acquired by Blackbaud, which does a lot of nonprofit development services, you have to work at a company that uses that software. So as an individual, I don't get access to Benevity when I leave the company that was using Benevity. We want to create this bottoms-up evangelism and excitement about you as an individual today being able to go find local volunteer events, go get involved, start building up your field day profile, and then as you switch companies, you're able to take that profile with you. That's a big differentiator for us. On the nonprofit development side, it's really about the kind of visibility we can get nonprofits that are doing amazing work and might not have the resources to get in front of, companies that have people that want to help or have potential sponsorship dollars behind them. And so instead of having the nonprofits operate in their own silos and having to figure out how to drive people to their websites or get more followers on their specific social media, they can work with us as this marketing partner for them to expand their reach and growth.
I'm taking like a big sigh of relief for all the development directors out there who have way too much that they're responsible for. Well, I hope that we get to talk with you again sometime. I have a lot of questions for you. This is an awesome pitch and an excellent idea. Thanks for joining us, Eli.
Thanks for having us.
Vanna. All right, friends. Sponsor BBSI is a local provider of HR and other small business support services. They are honored to support EDCO and PubTalk, and they have a new business partner to the local team, and that is Rob Hambleton here in Central Oregon and at Klamath Falls. Rob, I understand you're here. New guy, Rob. Hey, Rob. Nice to meet you. Thanks for joining us. New guy Rob. That is your name now forever. Sorry about that. Fourth early stage company, Life Air from Portland, Oregon, is saving millions of lives by pioneering the first ventilator that eliminates patient-to-patient transmission of diseases such as pneumonia and COVID. Welcome, Cosmo Group.
Hi, everybody. Great to be here. I'm here in my lab in Portland. Sorry I can't be down there with you. I just love exciting events like this. But my younger son has asthma, so and his vaccine hopefully is just around the corner, and then I can let my guard down a little. So what hospitals don't want you to know is that if everybody here went into the hospital and were put on a ventilator, then a handful or two of us wouldn't come out, and not because of the disease we're being treated for, but because of the ventilator. Because the problem is that ventilators were just never designed for use with highly infectious diseases, because you can't actually clean the inside of a ventilator. In fact, they're just never cleaned inside. So for COVID, one patient breathes their virus out into the ventilator and it can get blown into the next patient. So using a ventilator after someone else has used it is like sharing their mask. And also, it's well known that Pseudomonas and Acinetobacter that cause pneumonia live in ventilators. So this costs hospitals $12 billion a year and 100,000 people die. So back at the start of the pandemic, when I started to learn all this, I said, I just have to fix this. But here's something that everybody should know. So it turns out that the modern flu is the Spanish flu from 1918. So if we wonder, what does the post-COVID world look like? We already know. It'll be here for the next 100 years at least. So it's not going anywhere. So rule number one of pitching is never do a live demo. So I'm going to do a live demo. Here we go. Small silver lining for not being there today. So here's our prototype. It's breathing into this test lung. And what we've done is we've made a cartridge. The whole airway is contained in a removable cartridge. So all the pathogens are contained inside a single unit. And here's how it works. So I can just stop the ventilator and I can pop out this cartridge, and all the dirty stuff is contained inside these tubes, and nothing touches the base unit. So I can just pop out a fresh one out of the bag, put it in, hit start, and in a couple seconds it's breathing again. and it's clean and sanitized and fresh, and you're good to go. There it is, we're breathing. It's that easy, problem solved. So Dr. Fred Meem, he's the director of the ICU at Stanford and one of our advisors. He says, LifeAir's innovation solves the problem of patient-to-patient transmission once and for all, including for COVID-19. And recently, we just got some good news that all of the claims in our first patent have been allowed. I myself have over 37 patents and a PhD in physics, and I'm 3 for 3 in leading projects and inventing that have come to market, including a transistor that's now in the iPhone, in fact, in this very device I'm talking to you from, and a malaria diagnostic that's set to save millions of kids' lives that's now for sale in India, and a leading prostate surgery machine that has no risk of nerve damage that's now available in the US. Now, it's a huge market. It's a $5 billion TAM, but the goal is not to knock Medtronic off the top of the mountain. And in medical devices, our goal is to just get on the radar by bringing it to market. So with 1% of the market, we get 50 million in sales. That's a 250 million valuation. And then we're primed for acquisition. And the risk is gone, and they're happy to acquire us. It's their sweet spot. They're happy to have cowboys like us and take all the risk. And then they just put it into their roadmap. And so what I like about this project is that we're solving a problem that has been brushed under the rug for decades. And so once we show our technology, we become unignorable. You just can't go back to business as usual. Because once you have a solution that no longer risks lives, then it becomes imperative to use it. And this is what makes this go viral. So right now, we're ready to head towards commercialization. And in about 2 years, including FDA approval, we can be on the market. So together, we can save millions of lives and billions of dollars and head towards a large exit in about 5 years. With LifeAir, you get a breath of fresh air every time. Thank you.
Cosmo, this is amazing.
Hi, Cosmo. I am most excited to see where you are. I missed that when we talked to you last time. I really missed Josh's Willy Wonka engineering factory, and I'm glad to see you were in there with your pretend lung. So tell us why existing ventilators are allowed to function in the way that they are. I don't understand. If they're literally passing disease around from patient to patient, why has this problem not been solved before?
Yeah, so as far as I can understand, and this was true of the prostate surgery machine I made as well, that I think there's this thing in medicine where, look, 90% of the people that go on a ventilator are saved. And if there's no other solution, then you just, what can you do? And that's pretty good, right? That medicine isn't perfect, and we do save 9 out of 10 people that would die otherwise. It's sort of, there's this level below which we just kind of live with it. And if I walk through a hospital, by the way, I could come out with 100 problems that need solving. There's a lot of work to be done.
Yeah, colonoscopies. This is also true for the equipment used in colonoscopies, Cosmo. So just earmark that one for your next project. Yeah, I know, freaky. Let's not go too deep into it. Brian, how about you? How about you?
Set me up for, how can I follow? Cosmo, great pitch. So let's just assume that you skate through FDA approvals, you get all the patent protection, all your IP is protected, and you've done this before, so I'm curious, how do you crack, like, hospitals are notoriously difficult to sell into, right? Bureaucratic, like, horrible administrative processes you have to kind of navigate. How would you kind of shorten the timeline to an exit on this thing by accelerating growth after you get to the point where you can sell?
Sure. So there's a couple parts to our go-to-market strategy. So number one is doctors. So as you may know, the key to almost all hospitals' buying process is it needs a doctor recommendation to put it into their pipeline. So we're gathering many doctors now and getting their endorsements. So, and that'll continue on through the next 2 years. So when our devices are ready to go, then we've got dozens and dozens of doctors teed up, and that begins that sale process. And we might already have gone down the path and have letters of interest from hospitals at that point. The other strategy is we have a very close relationship with the president of Premier Group. It's a hospital aggregator. They buy for over 100 hospitals. And so he's setting us up as a pipeline into his hospitals. Then in India, we've already talked to the minister in India in charge of buying ventilators for the whole country. And one of the guys on my team, his magic is he can get anybody on the phone that I want to talk to in the world. I don't know how he does it. I can't do that. And so this guy said, this is great. We love the price point. and he's buying quantities of 3 to 35,000 units. And he said, call us when your machine is ready.
Wow.
Cosmo, tell us a little bit about what your protectable IP. It feels like everybody on the planet tried to build a ventilator 12 months ago because it seemed like we needed them so badly. And I guess I'm just curious why there isn't already a disposable, swappable ventilator part.
Yeah, so all the other companies that popped up this year, I call YAVs, or yet another ventilator, because they didn't push the forefront of medicine at all. There's sadly like very little innovation. They all hopped on the bandwagon of shortage. We were supposed to need 750,000 of them in the US. That didn't happen. The rest of the world still needs them. And that ship has sailed. So none of them did anything that they didn't push technology or price or anything. So they're really just irrelevant. Was there a second part?
Yeah, what's your...
Cosmo, hey.
The shade for the ventilator companies. What is your IP? What do you actually own? Like, is it the disposable concept or?
So amazingly, we got a little bit lucky that it's a really untrodden field. There's very little IP in this area. So it looks like we can own the whole concept of the disposable.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, Cosmo, I mean, I know there's too many questions, and at the same time, you answered them all already. Cosmo, thank you so much. This is just awesome. I loved your pitch, and I really want to wish you a lot of luck, because this is great. Can't wait to see what you do next. Have a great night.
Thanks, Cosmo.
We would like to extend a thank you to all of our EDCO members. Right? Private membership currently represents nearly 33% of EDCO's funding, and our work simply would not happen without your support. If you're not a member, we would like to strongly encourage you to join our movement today. EDCO membership underwrites a variety of support and resources, including EDCO's work to help build a prosperous and sustainable economy. 50 plus events, just like PubTalk, all geared toward engaging our business community, and yep, we've made our events happen even during a global pandemic. Cheers to the EDCO team, is quite impressive. Supporting, yes, thank you. So happy to be a part. Supporting local community directors in 5 communities, and supporting the Venture Catalyst and the Stable of Experts program for entrepreneurs. Some new members Heidi has been working with lately: 360 Sonar, Altitude Beverages, Cobalt Property Management Group, IMS Capital, Chris Magana, Caposa, Liz Wise Bookkeeping, Moonlight BPO, Oregon Bolt, Pence Construction, Remax, Brett Lendels, Support Local LLC, and the Where to Eat Guide. And upgraded memberships include Compass Project Solutions, Madras Sanitation, and Pride Staff. If you want to hear your business called out at PubTalk, visit EDCO's Director of Membership, Heidi Hausner, and register for additional information and join us. Our 5th early stage company, Connect Air, from Vancouver, Washington, is private aviation made public. Affordable, soon-to-be electric aircraft booked from your smartphone using local community airports. Welcome, Jonathan Evans.
Going to be respectful here and get a little timer going on myself, but I probably won't look at it. So I actually flew here directly in a small airplane today on my own timeline over the most beautiful Cascade Mountains that we all love and look at from below and up. And sometimes we hike up them, but I got to fly right through them today on the way here on this beautiful day, and got here exactly at the time that I wanted to, that fit in my day, and did it quite affordably. And I've been doing that for 20 years in these small aircraft, and I want to share that with you. We want to open the skies as Connect Air to everybody else that hasn't experienced this joy. And we want to make private air mobility public. And we're going to use these nifty smartphones, these supercomputers we all carry in our pockets that are ubiquitously connected to everything at all times, to give aviation an upgrade that it deserves. So a little bit, my bio helps you understand maybe where Connect Air comes from, so I'll indulge in it for this passing 1 minute right now. I started my first career in the Army flying US UH-60 Black Hawk helicopters, and then I continued that job into being a life flight pilot around these parts. And I got to fly over these mountains a whole bunch of times in helicopters that are probably the most on-demand aviation you can imagine in a very analog aviation world. I had my second career in starting a company called Skyward that hopefully some people in this room have heard of. We had some success, and I sat here 10 years ago in the audience looking up at the stage at people and got inspired enough to start my own software company that was venture-backed. We raised $8 million, and we ended up selling a drone operations management company to Verizon in 2017. And I'm happy to say that the 25-person company I sold to them in 2017 is now a 125-person division of Verizon that is, I dare say, pointing the network skyward and connecting drones to it now and networking them in regulated airspace. Which brings me to this third career where brings me in a small airplane to Bend Airport, to this local community, to this place where we've all seen the shift of people's life is moving. It's to the edges. It's like everything in technology, and now it's geography. Now it's physical. It's places like Bend where you all live because you can. And it's a little difficult still to go from Redmond to SeaTac to ultimately Atlanta where you're going, isn't it? And it's a little difficult to get to the Bay Area still. But we can provide you on-demand, point-to-point networks of small aircraft flown by senior captains that you could trust like anybody when you walk down a jetway, and at an affordable price. And you can summons that magic power in this little supercomputer in your pocket. That's coming next year, and I want you all to sign up for it, and I want you to see what we're going to build out at that airport to provide you a new node of transit mobility that inspires you to move. And what zooming really means is still moving to where you want to be in the world, when you want to be, in a private format, exactly when you want to be there. So we're going to bring you that.
Awesome. Take it away, Jen.
3 minutes? 3 minutes? 3 minutes?
Close enough.
I wanted longer.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hi. There are obviously lots of apps that allow you to book a private flight. I personally want to throw up when I see $25,000 to get from here to, like, Denver, right? It's a lot of money. It's like a car.
Can somebody pull up connectair.com and give me the number
so
on
just
that?
like put it into perspective for me, like how much you would charge if it cost me $25,000 to get my family of 5 to Denver.
Ben to, I want to take you to Jeffco.
I would like to go to Eagle.
You want to go to Eagle, you want to go to Vail. That's fine. Let's get Ben to Vail in a Sears could do that job actually, but probably Pilatus.
And tell me more about, while they're doing that, like who this is that's going to be flying the plane and what the plane's going to be.
Who in the passenger or in the front?
Like who's the pilot?
The pilot are very senior captains that are under our operational control, and we will soon have what's called our Part 135 certification with the FAA that we've been bootstrapping a rock star team handpicked from software and aviation to, for the last 2 years, get that certification from the FAA.
And what does that mean? That makes you a charter airline?
Yeah, I'd call us the un-airline because airlines have hubs and spokes and tables of times that you have to conform to, but we're going to bring you in a mesh network to where and when you want to be.
Okay. And you, okay, so those people, the pilots this isn't Uber, they're your employees?
Correct. It's like if we took the great sort of scalable idea of network that Uber represents, but you added the depth of it of any trusted, actually let me take Airbnb as the metaphor. It's as though you had the sort of head of the T of scalability of Airbnb and the stem of the T of Marriott. Like you can trust our airline, our un-airline, as much as you can any of the ones you do when you walk down a jetway. Our captains are all very senior, and they're under what the FAA calls our operational control, and we just put it into an app.
And what is the plane?
The aircraft are really where we make it much more affordable. They are state-of-the-art, tried and true, safe and trusted aircraft, but they're in the single-engine, single-propeller category. And that means that it costs a whole lot less to fly from point to point, and quite frankly, it's a lot more enjoyable.
Okay.
So put it into like dollars. Like I've been toying with this.
Back to Eagleville.
Right. Well, even like shorter. So I decide tonight I want to fly to Portland tomorrow, or one of the smaller airports nearby Portland, like the ones Nike uses, or
Yeah, local,
something in
local.
Beaverton.
No more hubs,
So
yeah.
what does it cost if nobody else wants to go with me? I'm going by myself. How do you consolidate multiple passengers onto those time slots if it's last minute?
Well, first of all, just to quote Jen, you can get to Denver on us and with 7 fellow passengers for $7,000.
Oh, that's a lot better than 25.
I think so. It's about $1 a passenger seat mile if you want to look at it. So, and that's if you fill our planes. So we have a 4-seater and we have an 8-seater. The 8-seater is pressurized. It goes 300 miles to a jet's 400 miles per hour. It gets you up and around the weather just like they do. And the 4-seater is the one that you can take through the mountains, not over it, and it's not pressurized and also very affordable. But always sitting next to a very senior captain, and quite frankly, you can ask her about her time flying in Afghanistan, and she'll regale you rather than be hidden behind some locked door and adorned with epaulets. So
She's like for real a fighter jet pilot, right?
well, we've got a few over there. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, my team is definitely handpicked from the best of both worlds of software and aviation.
Are you buying or leasing your planes?
Well, the Airbnb metaphor is best understood there because we're basically using these aircraft, which are the most sort of coveted owned aircraft in the single engine category, and they're the ADUs on our network, right? Like we're the supply side of us is other people's aircraft, and we also have a program we call the Pioneer Program that allows local communities a conduit to investing in causing an aircraft to be instantiated in their personal geography. So a really democratized investment vehicle along who owns the aircraft as well.
I feel like the EDCO team could talk to us for hours about what it's like to get a new flight out of Redmond. This is something that we work on. It's really, really hard, and it's very political. And the FAA gets involved, and there's subsidies, and you're just gonna skip all of it.
Yeah, subsidies are a really bad way to build a business, I think. Yeah. Oh, did I just do what enough said, right? Like, you have to build a viable business that people pull on the rope from the economy and the market actually needs, and every single one of you needs to get somewhere. Yeah. Every single one of you. Every single one of you wants to do it with less friction and with trust and safety, with a new medical standard in that, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. And quite frankly, I don't like to say all the problems we're solving. I like to say we're going to share the joy of flight with you and put it in the palm of your hand. Give you the ability to summons that aircraft to this airport, not ask for somebody to put in a route at Redmond.
Jonathan, so I'm going to circle. Can I circle back real
ahead.
quick? Because I really want to know what it's going to cost me to fly to. So $1 per mile. So that's what, $250 to Portland?
For a single seat, if you bought you said you're going to go alone, and so you're going to buy 3 seats in our 4-seater.
So I'm paying $750.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm crying one single tear, Jonathan. I just got my first Alaska Airlines
done.
card. What happened? Yes, sir. Question.
Absolutely.
Do you see the price going down? Okay, so if you see the price going down, what are the ways it's going to go down sustainably?
Well, so the first, just to give you where air charter sits today, so NetJets or Wheels Up you maybe heard of, but anybody that's flying in a jet today, they're paying what we say $10 per passenger seat mile, back to that number. $10 per passenger, $10 to $20 per passenger seat mile. That's because jets burn a lot of gas to go really fast, and they don't fill the cabin. So an 8-seat cabin on average has 2.5 seats filled in it, right? And 40% of flights are flown empty to rebalance the fleets of on-demand air jet charter today. So an A to B flight almost half the time, or almost 100% of the time, is going to require a B to A flight flown empty, right? So you have empty seats, you have empty legs, and you have tons of gas getting dumped out of the back of these things for speed in way too busy lives, in my opinion. Who wants all this speed? Like, we get it door to door anyway without any of the frictions of a hub and spoke system at 300 miles an hour instead of 4, but it costs you a lot of gas, and it costs you a lot of money to go that fast. And so choosing this category aircraft is the first order of magnitude we can offer on the cost. And anybody that's worked in the general aviation category recreationally knows this is affordable. Like there are lots of flying clubs and co-ops, and you have uncles that are aviation geeks like me that have like begged, borrowed, and stealed their way into some Cessna so they can fly around for $100 hamburgers on the weekend, right? It is affordable. You just need to have a systematic approach and an industrial leadership into the category where you both understand how to build aviation companies and software companies. It's really hard to do both, I'll say, just from my, background.
Yes. So for the risk-averse customer, what does it look like to plan a trip? Are we
Well,
talking-
was the risk on the booking of the flight or the flight itself? I wasn't I wasn't sure on your premise there. Oh, the booking risk. Oh, yeah, that's easy. Okay, so yeah. So have you ever gone through a user experience like on Airbnb has done this recently? I've seen on some airlines, for example, where they ask you instead of exactly what date and time you want to go somewhere, they say, hey, roughly when, roughly where, right? If you can bracket people into their demand, then you don't have to provide the specificity of those tables of the hub and spoke system, right? And you can use software to organize basically the aggregation of real demand. So that flight out of band, I hope you don't take tonight alone, right? I would hope that, well, you can opt in at the end of our app to say, I'll take the private flight, I'm buying all 3 seats. Right, and that's what it's an upgrade. You buy all 3 seats, you take it yourself. Otherwise, we're going to assume that when you instantiate the flight, we're going to give you a price that has a probabilistic discount on it based on the idea that we'll fill it with 2 other seats in this room tonight. Even if you instantiate it tonight, our app would say, here's the price. It's an 80% P factor that we can get at least 1 more seat in there. So you get a discount up front, software-based.
Question from the theater, maybe?
We will take it.
Okay, so an SR-22 is $1 million, and a Pilotus is how much? 3 million, 4 million?
Yeah, who's that? I can't see. I can't see
We're
this.
in the theater.
They're in the
So,
theater.
I guess how do you scale the business?
Well, deity from the theater, you seem to know your prices of Cirruses and Pilatuses quite well. Yes, go on.
Well, how do you scale? Yeah, I mean, there's no question the demand is there, the price is right. How do you scale the business with pilot owners at those price points?
Well, we aren't doing pilot owners, sir. Sorry. Our Part 135 certificate requires that we have trained, hired FTE pilots. Another difference from Uber. We are well on the bright line side of that. We need a training contract every year. We need to send our pilots to simulators. Like, we need to have a relationship with them as we put them on app also and put them into a gig economy-like job for the first time any of them have seen in their career. The ability to be like an Uber driver, but with all the controls, right?
But I'm not talking about the pilots. I'm talking about the aircraft itself.
Yeah, but you said pilot owners, so I want to be clear that we're not recruiting owners and pilots to fly their own airplanes around.
Yes, assuming Part 135 pilots are flying the planes, how many planes do you need to scale the business? Because there's almost an unlimited amount of demand to go just about anywhere.
I agree, and I hope every investor that hears this agrees. There is an unlimited amount of demand for this. The supply side is the hard side, and that's exactly what we're doing. And we model, the optimal level on a mesh network in about 1,000-mile geographic region is about 8 to 13 aircraft. That's when we start to see in Monte Carlo analysis an optimization pattern on what we call the traveling salesman problem, basically. That A to B, B to A fluidity that we need, and we want to never fly an empty flight. That has an optimization pattern that we can model for. And so we are going to market putting 8 to 13 aircraft in the Pacific Northwest right now, 1,000-mile region, and in the Atlantic Southeast. And like I say, some of you can join our beta test group of customers because we do believe we have almost endless demand starting in 2022 here.
Amazing, Jonathan. Well, you're a very exciting speaker. This is a really exciting idea, so I can't wait to hear more from you. I'm sure we'll see you again. Thank you for the pitch. And you've got a lot of people who want to talk to you, so get hydrated because you're going to be making some new friends. You forgot your phone. You forgot your phone. Your supercomputer. Whose is that? Oh, you forgot your friend's phone. He was checking prices, man. Sponsor COCC, Central Oregon Community College, is open once again for in-person classes, small business advising, testing, and other services. COCC also helps businesses solve their workforce training needs from Fortis Construction to St. Charles Healthcare System or to Health System. COCC is partnering across industries to create custom workforce education opportunities for employers and their employees. Learn how COCC can help you train the staff you have now and the staff you need for the future. Contact COCC's Marketing and PR Director, Jen Kovitz, for more. Isn't Judge Brian Vieira doing great? Isn't he doing great, you guys? He's doing so good. He doesn't even hear me. He doesn't even hear me. All right, sixth early stage company, Tonsil Tech from Redmond, Oregon, is an early stage startup incorporated in August of 2020 with the goal of creating a family of devices to remove tonsil stones. Please welcome Sydney Quinton Cox.
Okay, can you hear me? Perfect, very good. Okay. Hello everyone, my name is Sydney. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Tonsil Tech, where our goal is to help the 1 billion people with tonsil stones globally. My co-founder, Jesse, and I, we both learned we had tonsil stones back in college, and after graduating from OSU with bioengineering degrees, we worked in the Bay Area at med device, pharma, and 3D printing startups. We also met our third co-founder, Daniel, down there, who's experienced in leading marketing for several startups. Now, if you don't have tonsils and you've never heard of tonsil stones, that's not much of a surprise, because in the late 1970s, doctors stopped performing routine tonsillectomies on children. So more young people have their tonsils, which have crypts and pits that collect junk, such as food, mucus, and bacteria that calcify into these little chunks called tonsil stones. These stones have a pungent sulfur smell. They feel uncomfortable, and they are hard to get out. In short, tonsil stones cause really bad breath. It's kind of a gross problem, honestly, so people don't want to talk openly about them. But tonsil stones are an unaddressed necessity in oral health care because conventional methods such as mouthwash, toothbrushes, tongue scrapers, they don't remove the source of that stink that you smell. We are passionate about helping people who suffer from tonsil stones, and we want them to know that they are not alone, because globally, about 10% of the population actually has tonsil stones, based on CT scans and X-ray studies. So with no tools out there, people are currently forced to be rather creative in some unsafe ways, using their fingers, earwax removers, Q-tips, toothbrushes, chopsticks, bobby pins, makeup brushes, water flossers, pens, you name it, and unfortunately someone has tried it. So at home, tonsil stone removal is critical because people need to get these out on a reoccurring basis, often weekly or monthly, and people want to be able to do that from the comfort of their very own home. And that is why we started Tonsil Tech, a direct-to-consumer e-commerce company specializing in tonsil stones. We launched Tonsifix in late July, and we just sold our 100th unit, with over $3,300 in revenue to date. Our tools with patent-pending technology were specifically designed for tonsil stones, making it quick and easy to pop them out and wash them down the sink, along with any previous worries or frustrations. Now, Tonsifix is really just the beginning. Our vision is to be the premium tonsil stone company and expand into the multi-billion-dollar oral healthcare market by innovating additional oral healthcare products. We look forward to growing Tonsil Tech right here in Central Oregon, and if you or someone you know has tonsil stones, check us out at tonsiltech.com. Thank you.
Thank you. Sydney, it's great to have you back.
Thank you.
Sydney, every time you start talking, I feel my throat like closing up. It's just like so nerve-wracking. So explain how people learn about Tonsil Tech. Like, do you have to explain what a tonsil stone is and then sell the solution? Or do people know what a tonsil stone is and you're just selling the solution? Like, explain more about that.
That's a great question. So right now we're really focusing on the people that already know they have tonsil stones. They're the ones who are using bobby pins in the bathroom and hiding from their friends and family. So they're the people that we're focusing on, and people are already searching over 1 million times on Google each month looking for this. And on TikTok, there are millions of views of people taking these out. So it's definitely an issue that people are talking about, and it's up and coming as well, which is really cool to be able to be a part of, because it is the younger generations that are moving forward with tonsil stones and really frustrated with them, and actually a lot more open and honest and willing to share about it.
Putting it on TikTok, that's such a millennial thing to do, isn't it?
Yes, definitely.
Ryan.
Hey, Sydney. So what progress have you made from last year, kind of around this time until now? What, like, kind of highlight the things that you guys have done since then?
Absolutely, thank you so much. So the progress that we've done over the past year has been awesome to see. So we have actually gotten into the market and we've sold those 100 units, we're making revenue, and at this point in time, we've figured out how to get through all the regulatory pieces, how to manufacture, and at this point in time, we're looking at how to reduce our costs per part and really be able to start to scale in the future, which is what we're hoping to do soon.
I'm seeing like a little ticker that's like, counting the number of tonsil stones that have been flushed down the sink. It's just like ticking up to the millions.
Yeah,
Very inspiring.
It's great to see just how comfortable this is for people. Like, a lot of people are actually kind of surprised that it works as well as it does, because they've been so creative in the past trying to come up with their own options.
Okay, I have a question. She wants to see the device.
So while she's getting that out, you guys did not get to see the presentation, which includes pictures of
the stones.
Which are not stones. They are like snot chunks. Like, they're gross.
Kind of. Yeah, I guess they're kind of like soft, maybe even closer to like a hard booger, I guess. I don't know. So, yeah.
Throw boogers.
Yeah.
Didn't know that was a thing. Thanks so much.
That's in the slides.
Okay, show us the device.
Oh, okay. So this is what we've ended up engineering, and it also has a little lanyard on the back, which is great, so that if you were worried about a bobby pin that was honestly too short to be sticking in the back of your throat, this is all connected now. So we have that going. We also have a kit to really help people get away from the problems of having to work with their phone in one hand and then the tools in the other, and trying to do all sorts of different pieces. So we have a light and a pouch that people can take this on the go with them, because tonsil stones don't just happen when you're at home. So when people have them, they want them out now, and we're able to provide that immediacy that happens within about 30 seconds, instead of people spending 15 minutes to 30 minutes in the bathroom just struggling.
Home surgery is not okay. Yes. How do you know you have tonsil stones? Great question.
That's a great question. So some people will accidentally like spit one out and realize that they have it, or they'll feel something that feels more like a popcorn kernel in the back of their throat. There's also that unique taste and smell. So trust me, your dentist knows that you have tonsil stones. They just haven't told you yet because they don't know what to recommend to you. But now there's Tonsil Tech that can actually help with that.
My throat just went completely dry. Laura.
Oh, thank you so much. I think you're fabulous too. Let's chat after.
Question from the theater one.
Oh, wait, yeah, just a minute. What's the cost structure?
Yeah,
like?
absolutely. So right now, we have this box listed on our website online for $39, but we're having our launch sale for $35. And then in the future, we are planning to move to more of a subscription model where people can replace these as often as toothbrushes. So we're working towards that piece as well, but in the meantime, we're working to build up the number of people who have bought our starter kits to begin with.
And Sydney, you guys are printing these, right?
Yeah, so we're actually 3D printing these, which is super cool because I actually worked at a 3D printing company, and this is how we were able to get to market as fast as we did. And it is so cool to look at this technology and see the quality of these tools that have happened. So yes, one of the ways that we are going to be reducing price in the future is to transition to injection molding, which is what we're looking for funding to be able to do. But it is so cool to prove to people that yes, tonsil stones exist, and second of all, people are willing to pay for it, which is awesome.
Oh, it's so good. I mean, is there really more to say than that? Is there really more? Okay, one more question. Yes.
So
how is it scalable? Are you looking for other opportunities in the tonsil stone world?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we're definitely starting with the people who know they have tonsil stones and want to remove them. So the people who are doing this on a weekly or monthly basis. In the future, we do think that one of these kits should be in every single person's home, like with their first aid and other things, because you're gonna have kids and friends who have this issue. So someone's gonna need it at some point in time. So we're gonna be able to help with that process, but we also have more products that are coming down the pipeline as well. And my CTO, Jesse, is awesome, and I am so excited to get started on the next version, because right now we just finished up submitting our non-provisional patent for this one, so we actually get to move forward and start to work on other pieces now, and that is super exciting.
I am really looking forward to your first tonsil influencer. It's
Oh,
just gonna take
I
this
know,
thing.
I am too.
It's gonna take it all the way.
Perfect.
Well,
Thank
Sydney,
you so
give it
much.
an amazing pitch. I'm so excited that you're back, and I'm wishing you the best of luck. Thanks for being here. Sponsor, BBB, Bend Broadband, is a proud sponsor of PubTalk and so happy to be part of such an amazing community. Bend Broadband has released an ebook to help businesses plan their hybrid workforce. So please go to, are you guys ready for this? Write it down. https://my.tdstelecom.com. You know what? Just email Edco and they'll send you the link. Huh? I have not figured out how to hyperlink my talking just yet. I hear a very sincere thank you is in order to Adam Krenicki at the OSU Cascades CoLab. They were gracious hosts of this year's Upstart Day when 15 early stage companies presented to get down to the 8 semifinalists that you're seeing here tonight at PubTalk. Thank you, Adam, and your Rockstar Beaver team. I don't know where you are, Adam. Are you in here? Somewhere nearby. Well, thank you, Adam. You're awesome. 7th early stage company, Radius, from Portland, Oregon, is a B2B marketplace for rentable home office space. Please welcome Amina Morea.
Hi, everybody. Can everyone hear me okay? All right. Well, I am the CEO and co-founder of Radius, which is, as we just heard, a B2B marketplace for rentable home office and meeting space, though. So working professionals have spoken. Remote work is here to stay. The problem is that working from home isn't great for everyone. Some people have a lot of distractions, others might not be able to afford a great work from home setup. And I know that I personally find it really hard to turn my work brain off at the end of the day because I'm literally living at the office. There's no escaping it. At the same time, if you ask people if they want to continue to work remotely at least some of the time, nearly 98% of them say yes. So companies all around the world are responding. Some are canceling leases, others are announcing permanent remote work policies, but they still have all those downsides of working from home to contend with. Plus, in-person collaboration is really important to them too, and that's really hard to do from home. Companies across the globe need a solution, and we've got one for them. Radius offers on-demand meeting spaces and private offices down the street from your house. Think of it much like Airbnb. They've come up a few times tonight. But instead of overnight accommodations, we provide great workspaces in residential areas rented by the day. So employees get to keep the convenience and flexibility that they want while also getting a little bit of work-life separation. And employers get to have their teams get together in person again without forcing them to commute back to the traditional office. Everybody wins. So here's how it works. Companies subscribe to Radius on a monthly basis. This gives their teams access to book great workspaces for free. And homeowners earn revenue through renting out great working environments. And Radius takes a 20% commission on each booking. We ran a private beta this summer in Portland, but now that people have returned from summer vacation and they're getting back to work, we're seeing a spike in demand. We already have paying users, but in addition to them, we also have nearly $1 million in signed LOIs from employers that are ready to put bigger teams in our spaces. So now we're focusing our efforts on ramping up our inventory to meet the huge demand that we're seeing. Our platform is beautiful, and I'll have to show it to you sometime. And I have my two co-founders to thank for that. Brian, who's a back-end developer, and Alon, who's focusing on the front end. Myself, because I've built 4 other companies before this one, 2 of them also marketplaces, which have been acquired since. I bring team leadership and the business expertise to scale this. My background in storytelling psychology has won one of my previous companies 5 Emmy Awards. And as an open level tennis player, I've basically had grit built into my DNA since I started competing when I was 7. But what excites me most about this is that this is not just an office solution. We're not just another marketplace. We are fundamentally changing the way the world works. Companies no longer need to be limited by centrally located offices or employees isolated in their homes. Imagine a world where companies have distributed work wherever employees are. It's an entirely new model. It's a movement, and I'm thrilled to explore partnerships with investors who find this exciting too.
Thank you, Amina. Beautiful pitch.
Awesome, Amina. Hello. So today, the companies or the sorts of events or team meetings that you're describing, where would they be taking place today? Like in a hotel conference room, or like where are you trying to steal market share?
Yeah, that's definitely one of them. Hotel conference rooms, which are, in my opinion, kind of sterile. You've got co-working spaces, co-working spaces, where you have some private areas to meet, but they're in high demand and low supply. And then, of course, you've got the traditional office, but over the last year and a half, people have gotten used to not commuting and having flexibility, and so people don't want to be forced back. So those are the big ones.
And when you look for spaces, are these folks who are already renting the home on Airbnb or whatever, or are these or do you have to go build a whole new inventory of spaces that is not currently being rented?
Airbnb hosts are definitely the low-hanging fruit because they have hosting experience, they have spaces, and frankly, Airbnb has already been telling them, invest in better Wi-Fi, invest in a good workspace or a desk over here, because digital nomads are coming and work travel is gonna start coming back as more and more people get vaccinated. And so Airbnb is kind of coaching our target market on our behalf. And it's really giving us a leg up. I also want to add, though, that, what are people doing when they're not vacationing? Like, we're just moving out of vacation season into winter season, and winter season is the slow season for Airbnb hosts. So for the first time, Airbnb hosts are going to be able to monetize this slow work season because we exist.
And just to be clear about the revenue model one more time, you're selling to companies.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Now, we are also testing a B2C concept as well, but we see the biggest opportunity as being a B2B. Employers have so much to lose if they are seen as inflexible, and if they don't give their employees innovative remote and hybrid options. And so we're really leaning into that.
Hey, Amina, so I'm curious, in your opinion, this seems like a huge opportunity, right, especially over the past year. So it's not brand new. We're about a year and a half into this. Why, if it's such a big opportunity, why isn't, in your opinion, Airbnb, VRBO, why aren't they executing against it?
Yeah.
Why aren't they going after
because
it?
They don't. Yeah, because they don't need to. That's really the simple answer. Airbnb has done better throughout the pandemic than any other accommodations company. And they've done better because they're private, intimate spaces where people can feel safe. And on top of that, there's all of this pent-up demand for travel, right? Look at what happened this summer, and that's only going to increase. And Brian Chesky, the CEO of Airbnb, recognizes this. So for the last year, he's been harping on this fact that they are stripping away all non-essential distraction services and focusing on their core model, which is overnight accommodations and extended stays. They just have no reason to. Their business is doing kind of better than ever, and it's about to do even better. That's not to say that, like I said, they are kind of training our our potential hosts. And so could we partner with them in the future after we've taken the risks on their behalf? Sure, we're open to that.
Revenge travel is what they're calling it, Brian. Revenge travel. Any questions from the audience?
Theater.
Theater, hit me.
Will you be internationally based as well?
Well, based is a very, the definition of based has changed.
In other
right?
words, would you offer locations and international locations?
Absolutely. So we're definitely, our first pilot was in Portland. Next step is to expand domestically. But you know, the TAM on this is huge, especially once you look at the world. Effectively, wherever there are people who can work remotely part or all of the time, we need to be there.
Yep.
Yes, question, Jonathan.
We have a remote first office. I'd just like to get introduced to me so that we can start getting.
Okay, Jonathan has a bunch of small airplanes and he wants to have a conversation with you. I'm thinking, like, has anyone thought about the water cooler situation? There's a lot of directions this could really go. Any other questions from the audience?
No, I have to tell Jonathan. So Jonathan, we have a train car. We have a train car that's actually on tracks that has been converted into an office that can accommodate 14 people with a meeting room, with a kitchenette, with a lavatory, with air conditioning. So airplanes, totally fair game.
Ah, that's so great. That's really cute. I want to see the train car. Okay, I think we're good on questions. Amina, that was awesome. Thank you so much, and well done. Your pitch is awesome.
Thanks, Amina.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Jonathan stood right up and said, "Can I give you my card?" Sponsor COAR, the Central Oregon Association of Realtors, is proud to announce the 11 Building a Better Central Oregon Award winners. Visit COAR.com to learn about the 2021 projects. They're awesome. You guys take a peek. Final early stage company, Foxface Systems, Inc. from Camas, Washington, provides an easy and affordable online platform for the affordable housing compliance process. Please welcome Alicia Venez.
Oh. Hi, guys. The last time I was on this stage, I almost vomited, and I guess now you know why.
It's not about the tonsils.
I mean, that was a close one, but I love her pitch. So early in the pandemic, I had a client tell me that they were struggling with figuring out how to do a remote lease-up. A lease-up occurs when a new building is being built. Typically, when an affordable, can I move this? When an affordable housing building comes up, you see a line around the corner for applicants to get on the wait list and go through the compliance process. This obviously wouldn't have worked during a pandemic, but really, why is that the system at all? People standing outside, some elderly, some disabled, all waiting for housing? Super lame. The compliance process starts with 37 questions that each ask about income and assets for each adult house member. We go through the process at the time of move-in and then again annually. And the forms are difficult, mostly because they're created by the IRS and it results in a time-consuming process. The process is a pain in the ass. It's hard on the residents and frustrating for the property managers. And when I asked property managers, or who I like to call my peers, what their main struggles were, they reported 4 things. 1, there is poor communication with residents, management teams, and third-party agencies. 2, our owners are facing financial insecurity. We can't guarantee timely tax credits with our current systems. 3, there are long wait times for move-ins. Residents are living in shelters, on couches, and on the street because we just can't get it together. And 4, we never have enough time because we're constantly helping residents through this process. So my team set to work. The Foxface team, who is made up of property managers, asset managers, a developer, and a designer, created a system not unlike TurboTax. We took those ugly IRS forms and created a system that does the heavy lifting for residents. The system asks the questions one by one, gathers contact information for banks, government agencies, and employers, and collects all that needed information until the forms are completed. The value, we empower residents while protecting assets and saving property managers time. As a result, we move people in faster and more efficiently. We have competitors, but they're expensive, and they treat affordable housing as an afterthought. Their systems are built for conventional housing and only sort of function for affordable housing. They're two different beasts, and you would think with 10 million affordable units in America, we would have figured that out already. We're currently testing FoxSpace with property managers in our network, but we plan to sell FoxSpace to property managers at $3.50 per unit for the whole property per month on an annual contract. We've started discussions with property managers in Oregon and Washington and California. Should we move to the next round, should we win altogether, we would use the money to provide FoxSpace for the proper insurances, legal, and marketing collateral needed to get off the ground. FoxSpace is currently surviving off the coattails of my other company, but it really could use an influx of cash. There is pain for property managers here, I know, because I am one, and residents here, and experience has taught me that where I find pain, I also find revenue. And frankly, I am excited about that, but the truth is, FoxSpace will help people with unstable housing find stability, and everyone deserves that. I am Alicia Vaness, CEO and owner of FoxSpace Systems, Inc. Thank you for having me. And my baby.
Thanks, Alicia. It's awesome to see you back.
Thank you.
I love that you multiplied by one.
Yeah, you know,
Very well
my
done.
other company is a staffing company, and I really couldn't find employees anymore, so I made them.
She looks reliable. She looks really reliable. Okay, Jen and Brian. Jen, looks like you have a question.
Alicia, tell us, so you sort of mentioned that these solutions do exist, but they're, for market rate housing, and there isn't anything for affordable. So what's the difference? Like, how is this different than applying to live in a market rate house?
Yeah, so conventional affordable housing defer, that's a really great question, in that we just regular people every day say, hey, I have 3 times the amount of rent, I have good rental history, I'm going to move in. The opposite of that happens for affordable housing. With affordable housing, money is tied to any given unit or building, and we have to prove that we don't make enough money. So imagine having disabilities or some sort of barrier that keeps you from understanding the IRS forms, which, I mean, let's be honest, how many of us suffer with the IRS forms? I don't know what I'm doing with the taxes. So
Very intimidating.
Yeah, so with that, they're going out and they're suffering all of these barriers and having to gather all that information just to find housing.
So you're selling to the property manager?
Yes.
And then if someone wants to live in one of their units, like what do? They just have like a open application all the time on their website, or like how does it actually work?
Yeah, so the process is, I was gonna say simple, but it's not. So they find a building that they wanna live on, they get put on a very long wait list. The wait list could be 7 years long at times. It is in Portland, which is another revenue stream later that we'll work on. They go through the background check, which is different than what we do. Once they pass the background check and say, hey, you're a good renter, you don't have any past criminal histories, you're ready to move in, that's when they start the compliance process. And that's when those ugly IRS forms kind of attack them.
Are the property managers government entities, or are they private companies or nonprofits, or like what are they?
Both. So my husband is the director of asset management for a local housing authority, and so it could be him, or it won't be because, conflict of interest. But it could be people like him, government agencies like him, or other entities that are privately owned.
Yeah, so are you having a geographic rollout? Are you just starting kind of in the Pacific Northwest, or are you planning on rolling this out nationally? That's the first part of my question.
Okay.
The second is, it seems like there's like a demand-supply offset here where there's just 7 years of demand, just in Portland, right? It's gotta be the same elsewhere, where there's huge, visible homelessness.
Yes.
And if there is an offset, is the supply there? Is it not there? Does it need to be brought online? Where does it stand?
Yeah, so 2 different revenue streams, but I like what you're thinking there, Brian. So the first question, repeat. So, yes, geographically. So geographically, yes, we'll start in the Pacific Northwest, mostly because that's where my network is from, and that's where all of our people's network is from. And then we'll spread out, depending on where that network leads us. The waitlist question is different, however, because they would have already made it to the top of any given waitlist by the time they meet us.
Yeah. So to the supply and demand problem, I mean, there's no shortage of demand for these units.
No,
And
no,
people
gosh, no.
probably are willing to lie down in the street in order to get one.
They have, yes.
And so, you know, what is the sort of impetus for a property manager to buy this thing? Like, are they, I'm not saying they're bad people, it's just like, why, you know, why introduce this into the process? If they have so much demand, they're not even, they don't have a problem with demand. And they don't have a problem with
labor.
cost. Okay, labor.
Yep, yep. They are managing all of these buildings. Say one manager has 100 units and it's spread out across 4 buildings. This would help them consolidate all of that into one location, and then they wouldn't have to spend so much money in labor going to different places.
All right, any questions from the audience, from the crowd, from the theater? Yes.
Oh, no.
Where does the name Fox Face Systems come from?
I had a dream that one of my companies was dying. And then she's almost. Do you want to come here? Come on. And in the dream, it was fish, and Fox Face is a blue fish. That's what it was, you guys. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm totally into it. I'm like a super weird. I am that friend that's like, let me tell you about my weird dream. There were huge waves, and then Justin Bieber was there. It was a whole thing. Okay.
Yes.
Any other questions? Or we're pretty clear. Okay. Yes. Are there any governmental entities offering you support as well that you're exploring?
Yep, we have had discussions with Oregon Housing and Community Services, but we're not quite there yet.
I think I have one more question. Yes.
Yes.
What was it that made you have this idea and want to actually pursue it and bring it to life?
Yeah, a client of mine from my other company was having a meltdown and couldn't do a remote lease up in a pandemic. So she said, Alicia, do you know anyone who can do a remote lease up? And I was like, WTF, no, that's never been done. And so then I go to my office and I say to my husband, hey, can we do this? And he's like, no, that's never been done. And I was like, I'm gonna do it. And then I called some people that I know, and they were like, yes, let's do it. And within 3 days, my husband had a cool little flow chart up there for me, and I was like, build this for me. And they were like, okay. That's
awesome.
where we are. Yeah.
Hey, I just want to say, Employee of the Month is crushing it.
I'm right.
I know. I'm very impressed. Alicia, it's amazing to have you back. I'm rooting for you all the way. Thanks for coming. Just a quick special thanks to Matt Hand and his tech team with Hand in Hand Productions for tonight's event, streaming into other rooms, virtually for those who couldn't join us in person. I hope you're getting my good side, Matt. Huh? Trick question. My good side is my inside. Julianne knows what I'm talking about. All right, so let's take some votes, shall we? Thank you again to Portland's Seed Fund for the valuable $30,000 minimum investment into BVC's early stage competition. So you're going to take your phone out. You're going to go to edcoinfo.com/vote. edcoinfo.com/vote. There we are. You must select 3 companies to submit your vote. Not 2, not 4, 3 companies. Voting will remain open for the next 2 minutes, so get set, on your mark, get your fingers out, point to the favorite companies. Now, if you need assistance, please raise your hand. And I want to say, let's see here, while the votes are coming in, I have a couple things to share about the upcoming Ben Venture Conference, which I am really excited about. It is 4 short weeks from today. Okay, so Team Edco just broke out in a cold sweat. You guys got this. You always got this. It's in its 18th year. Over $10 million deployed into 40 companies over the past 5 years. Has had multiple exits for investors. BVC has had 7 exits so far, and those exits have now returned over 4 times cash across the portfolio, which is just astounding. 3 BVC briefs will take the stage during the conference, and more than 1 company from each track can be invested in. So there can be a lot of winners. Now, there are discounted tickets to BVC for EDCO members. Join now, you'll save $70 a ticket. Who wants to save $70? You could put that right back into Taban's app and make a lot of money off of that saved $70. I have a couple of other announcements for you not to, or events for you not to miss. EDCO has another very successful Made in Bend Tour watch party at the end of August, and REDI is going to do the same this fall. So the Made in Redmond Tour is October 1st at the High Desert Music Hall, and there's also a virtual option to attend for those who just can't drive 18 miles. Check out EDCO's event page for more details, and don't forget to mark your calendars for BVC October 21st and 22nd in downtown Bend. And then we also have a birthday in the house to celebrate. EDCO is turning 40 this year. So I guess we're going to Vegas. We might get a little Botox. I don't know. Might pick up a new winter sport. I would love to see a little bit more cheering for Ben's or for EDCO's 40th birthday. There's like 40 is a big one. That's like when life really starts. So if EDCO has been able to do all of this in the first 40 years, what do the next 40 look like? Aaron, yes. Oh, Brian, you're needed by Aaron. How are we looking? Are we getting close? Almost? I do have some stats. I just want to check in and see how we're looking. So I don't know if any of you had a chance to, if you knew that we were turning 40, there's a lot of actually really amazing things to celebrate. And this is about Central Oregon. So in 1981, the state and region were in the middle of the worst and longest recession yet or since, including the Great Recession. And this mess is even worse than the mess that we just went through, right? Annual employment rates were on their way to 18.1% in Crook County, 16% in Deschutes, and 12.8% in Jefferson, and the entire region had just lost over 40,000 jobs. This is 1981, which was 40 years ago, really? Wow. It does, it really does. The minimum wage was $3.35 an hour, $3.35 an hour. So that's to equal, it says to equal today's $1,000 signing bonuses, you have to work almost 300 hours or 7.5 weeks. But of course your dollar did go a lot farther. Rent was a lot cheaper. Just under $8 million in value for building permits were issued in Central Oregon. That's residential, commercial, and industrial combined. The population in the entire Tri-County area was 15,000 fewer people than those that call just Bend home today. Commercial air service to the region consisted of a single airline, Hughes Air West, which was a handful of flights each day to Portland, Seattle, San Francisco, and Los Angeles, and that's it. We have come so far. We have come so far. So it's against this backdrop that EDCO was born and established to improve the regional economic conditions and opportunities for Central Oregonians at a time when those prospects seemed bleak, to say the least. There was a saying back then, the last person to leave town, please turn out the lights. But lights did not get turned out, so to speak. In fact, quite just the opposite. Together we bootstrapped and worked towards a shared benefit. And so today you'll consider that we've emerged from this very strange and unique recession faster than nearly all other parts of Oregon. For example, Crook County has regained nearly all of the jobs lost during the pandemic. It's very awesome. Unemployment ranges from 6.2 to 7.5% with just over 98,000 total jobs, thousands of which are currently going unfilled, which you are probably very well aware of. Minimum wage ranges from $12 to $12.75 an hour in Central Oregon, but the effective minimum wage today, even for an unskilled job, is much higher. In the past year, our cities and counties have issued building permits for more than, I believe the number is, it's multiple million. Roger, do you know how many dollars of building permits have been written for this year, in this year? Not even Roger knows. I'm going to say it's $1 billion because I love to say that. We now have more than 54 flights daily via 6 airlines to and from Redmond Airport to 10 international airports and service to San Jose, scheduled to start in September. This, I think it did start, yeah? And look for even more in the coming years. And my friend Jonathan's just scoffing at that, right? So I'm just wondering, what does the next 40 years look like? Anybody have any guesses? Any predictions on how long it's going to take us to get to 250,000 people? We're there? Are we there in the whole area? What about just in Bend? How long will that take? We're gonna have to build some houses. I know, right? I saw actually a study that was done today, and it was talking to remote workers, and the places that they were most excited about potentially moving to, and the only one on the West Coast was Bend, and then the closest one was like a strange little place in Arizona. I thought at least there'd be some spots in Idaho, but no, it did not make the cut. And then everything else, lower southeast. Who knows? How about, I want to shift just a little bit. How was everyone's summer? This was a question I had because I really did miss you all. And I know it's good to take a break, but I really did miss you all. Did y'all have a good summer? What's that? You bought a trailer. Wow. Well, I told you what I did. I got an Alaska Airlines card and became obsessed with one Justin Bieber song, which really took me by surprise. Also fell deeper in love with my golden retriever. Didn't know that was possible. So I'd say overall it was a really good summer. What about, it was smoky. How do you feel about this? For every smoky day, extreme heat day, and smoky and extreme heat day, we get a bonus day on the back end. Who's going to make that startup happen? Okay, I'll vote for that one. I vote for that one. What? Anybody else do anything remarkable this summer? Anything super fun? You bought a new house? A new mask? You bought a new mask. Anybody like wearing masks? I have to say, I will always travel with a mask, unless I guess I'm on one of Jonathan's airplanes. I will always travel on an airplane with a mask. Wish I had been wearing them in public restrooms the whole time. 65% of people aren't washing their hands, so we could talk about that all day. That's a real thing. Anybody else have a baby? Anybody get a puppy? Do you still have the puppy? Well done. He's a good boy. I bet he is. You should have brought him. Actually, at the beginning of the night, a guy came in and said, hey, do you allow dogs? And I'm like, I wanted to say yes so badly because I allow dogs, but I do not work for McMenamin. So he technically asked the right and the wrong person. Anybody else do anything like wild? Anybody travel somewhere far away? I went to New York. Might as well be another planet. I don't know how anybody is doing it except for very, very wealthy people, but I'll tell you what, I feel happy just knowing that place exists. It's so amazing, so incredible. It was a great trip. Anybody else? Anybody travel anywhere fun? Are you guys traveling again? Are you holding off? Couple people? No traveling. Have you heard of this term, revenge travel? You're getting revenge on the travel you didn't get to take. People like buying trips to Paris for $600. Connect Air. No kidding. I'm curious. The question I wanted to ask Jonathan was, what does the frequent flyer program look like? Is it gonna be like a punch card or points? Connect Air token. Oh. Well, okay, let's maybe talk about it because I got a text from Venmo the other day that was like, hey, you use Venmo a lot. You can take this survey and make $100. And I clicked on the link and it was like, here's a headlamp. Or a weird robe. I'm like, that's not $100. Don't lie to me, Venmo. It's not $100. Turn it in for flying. Okay. Yeah, okay. I'm going to go home and cut up my Alaska Airlines card. Okay. Well, you know what? The one I did consider was the oxygen meter that goes on the finger to tell you what your oxygen, but I knew I'd be obsessively using it and that it would get weird really quickly. So I X'd out of it. I cleared all my browsers. I never looked back. I think there's some winners coming towards me. This is very exciting. Okay, are you ready? Okay, so.
I'm kind of ready. I don't love this because it means that not everybody wins. And once again, we had a fantastic group of applicants this year.
Fantastic group, and yes,
it gets
such
better
a great
every
lineup.
single year, and I really super love this. And I hope some of you saw some pitches that inspired you to connect with these people and help them on their journey. And no matter what stage they all are super promising, and we are so privileged to have heard from them and shared in the work that they are doing. So, on behalf of Portland Seed Fund. And my fellow judge, Brian Vieira, thank you for pitching, and it was so great to hear from you. So the top 5 tonight, the 5 who will be advancing to the stage, at the Ben Venture Conference in 4 weeks, 3 weeks, are in alphabetical order: Connect, Connect Air, Connect Air, Life Air, Radius, and Tonsil Tech.
Thank you, Jen. Okay, so I'm actually gonna, congratulations to all 5 of you, and again, thank you to all of you who pitched. This was amazing. I wanna call Corey Allen on up. He is going to announce the bonus $3,000 winner. So this is coming from Washington Trust Bank. Corey, how you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad to be here. Is everybody excited? Everybody have a good time tonight? I'm a little hoarse. I don't know why. It's not from the smoke, because it's been nice not to be smoky for once. But hey, yeah, so everyone's not always a winner, but that's the great part about winning, right? Makes you appreciate it that much more. So the audience award and the winner of the $3,000 check tonight, moving on, is Tonsil Tech, Sydney Quentin Cox. Come on up.
Come on up, Sydney. So congratulations, Tonsil Tech. Congratulations, Sydney. I know you're going to use this money really wildly. I mean, you're going to do a great job with it. So not only are you moving on to the BVC stage, but here you go. You've got some extra cash to explore all of your amazing ideas. It's
Yeah? You good?
I'm from Portland, Oregon. Oh, Redmond, Oregon. Bend,
Yay.
Oregon. Thank
All
you.
right.
Much appreciated.
All right, so I'd love to call all of our finalists up to the stage. You're going to take a masked, socially distant, but not at all awkward photo. And thank you all for coming, for rooting on these early stage companies, for voting to send the finalists of these hard-working companies onto the BVC stage. Tonsil Tech got $3,000. Good night, everyone. Get home safely, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I will see you next month on the 21st for BVC. Good night.